Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being truly well-informed. Today, we're tackling something huge, a film that, well, it wasn't just a movie, was it? Avengers Endgame.
A genuine cultural event.
Exactly, and we've gone through a really detailed review of it, pulling out the key insights, the stuff you might have missed about, the plot, the themes, its massive impact. Because this was the end of something big. The culmination of over 10 years of stories, the whole Infinity Saga that kicked off with Iron Man way back when.
Yeah, 2008. It's hard to believe sometimes. And just to set the stage, Endgame was directed by Anthony and Joe Russo. Great script from Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely.
The same team behind Infinity War.
Right. And it's a long one over 3 hours. But it needed to be, dealing with the fallout from Infinity War. You remember Thanos' snap just wiped out half of all life.
Devastating. Left the Avengers totally broken.
Broken, scattered, yeah. Dealing with this, unimaginable grief and failure. That's where Endgame picks up.
It's a bleak start. But then there's that spark of hope. Scott Lang, Ant-Man.
Ah, yes. Scott's return from the quantum realm. That's the game changer.
He comes back and suddenly this crazy idea, time travel, it's actually on the table.
Kind of.
Yep.
He brings the possibility, the hint, that maybe time works differently in there.
And that leads to this audacious plan. The review calls it the time heist. That's really the core of it, isn't it? Their attempt to fix things.
That's the plan. The Hail Mary, really.
So, okay, half the universe dusted, heroes are at rock bottom, this time heist is their one shot. How did that actually unfold? What were some of the key moments in pulling that off?
Well, the basic idea was pretty straightforward on paper, but incredibly risky. Go back, grab the Infinity Stones from different points in the past before Thanos got them.
Right, assemble a new gauntlet.
Exactly. And reverse the snap. But, the execution,
Right.
tricky. The review pointed out their trip back to the Battle of New York in 2012.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. Chaos.
Total chaos. They're trying to grab the Mind Stone, the Time Stone, the Space Stone, all while dodging their past selves, dealing with Loki escaping again.
And Hulk smashing things. A rather clumsy Hulk, as the review put it.
Yeah. And you see the logistics involved, needing the Pym particles, the careful coordination. It wasn't simple.
No, definitely not just a smash and grab. But it wasn't only about the mechanics of getting the stones, was it? Our analysis really stressed the emotional side of these trips.
Oh, absolutely. That's crucial. Each jump back wasn't just about the mission objective. It forced the characters to confront their own pasts, their regrets, their losses.
Can you give an example?
Well, think about Thor seeing his mother again, or Tony meeting his father. It added these unexpected layers of emotional depth.
Right, so they managed to get all the stones eventually.
They do, after a lot of effort and, sacrifice. And then it's Bruce Banner, Professor Hulk.
A smart Hulk, yeah.
Smart Hulk, right. He's the one who wields their makeshift gauntlet. And it works. He brings everyone back.
That must have been an incredible moment. But it's not over yet, is it?
Not by a long shot. Because, a past version of Thanos, the 2014 one, he gets wise to their plan through Nebula.
Ah, the Nebula connection. Complicated.
Very. And this Thanos, he follows them back to the present. 2023. And that leads to the final battle.
Oh, that final battle? The review called it an unparalleled spectacle. What happens when everyone comes back?
Well, it's everything fans have been waiting for, wasn't it? Cap is facing Thanos alone. Looks like it's over. And then you hear Sam, on your left.
Chills. Still gives me chills.
Me too. And then the portals open. Everyone who was snapped away, they all come back. Wakandans, sorcerers, guardians, everyone. It's just this massive, sprawling fight. The biggest thing the MCU had ever done.
Unbelievable scale. And how does it end? The culmination?
It comes down to Tony Stark, Iron Man. He manages to get the stones onto his own suit, faces Thanos, and delivers that line. I am Iron Man. And snaps his fingers. Wipes out Thanos and his entire army. But, the power is too much for him. He makes the ultimate sacrifice.
A defining moment. Wow. So the film wraps up after that, dealing with the aftermath.
Yeah, it takes time to breathe. We see Tony's funeral, which is incredibly moving. Thor decides to head off with the Guardians of the Galaxy, find himself again.
A new path for him.
And then Steve Rogers, Captain America. He goes back to return the stones to their proper timelines.
Yeah.
But he doesn't come straight back.
He stays.
He stays in the past. Gets that life with Peggy Carter he always wanted. That dance.
Finally.
And then returns as an old man, passing the shield, his legacy, on his Sam Wilson. Falcon.
Wow. What an ending for those characters. It really sounds like their individual journeys were central. Our analysis mentions Endgame isn't just action, it's deeply thematic. Let's talk about legacy and closure. What did the review highlight there?
Yeah, that's a huge part of it. The review suggests Endgame kind of redefines legacy. It's not just about the big heroic moments, but the personal choices, the sacrifices, and knowing when to pass the torch.
So Tony's sacrifice completes his arc.
Absolutely. From, the genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist who was initially quite selfish to someone who lays down his life for everyone. That's closure.
And Steve
gets the peace he was denied. He was always a man at a time, right? Now he finally finds his time, his place with Peggy. It's a quiet, personal closure.
And Black Widow, Natasha.
Her sacrifice on Vormir for the Soul Stone. It's tragic. But it's framed as her finding ultimate purpose in saving her found family, the Avengers. It gives her story a powerful, albeit heartbreaking, end. These original Avengers, their stories find real resolution.
It feels like looking back was just as important as moving forward. The time travel element feeds into another theme, time and regret. How did the analysis explore that?
That's where the time travel really shines, narratively speaking. It's not just, let's grab the MacGuffins. It lets characters literally revisit moments of pain or loss.
Like Thor seeing his mother.
Exactly. Thor gets to talk to Frigga on the day she dies. He gets a kind of goodbye he never had, and some much-needed perspective. It's incredibly moving.
And Tony meeting his father.
Yeah, Howard Stark. Tony gets this brief, unexpected moment, sees his dad in a different light, maybe understands him a bit better. It subtly reshapes his own feelings about his past.
And Cap seeing Peggy again, even before he decides to stay.
Right. Even that glimpse reinforces what he lost, what he's fighting for. It's all about grappling with the past, with what-ifs, and figuring out how to move on, even if it means literally revisiting it.
It sounds duckly personal. And that ties into the final big theme, loss and recovery. The film doesn't shy away from the trauma of the snap, does it?
Not at all. Our review really emphasizes this. The first act especially sits with the grief. The world is mourning. And we see how different heroes cope, or fail to cope.
Like Hawkeye.
Yeah, Clint Barton losing his whole family. He becomes Ronin, this vengeful, broken vigilante. It's dark. It shows the real cost.
And Thor's journey was unexpected.
Definitely controversial for some, but bold. Seeing Thor dealing with depression, weight gain, PTSD, profound failure. It wasn't typical superhero stuff, but it showed the depth of his loss before he starts finding his way back. The film earns the recovery by showing the depth of the loss first.
That really grounds the whole epic scale, and making those journeys believable comes down to the actors. The review singled out quite a few performances.
Oh, absolutely. The performances were key. Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. The review called it career-defining. He nailed the wit, the emotion, the final sacrifice. Just perfect closure for that character.
And Chris Evans
as Captain America, just embodying that nobility, that heart. His ending felt really earned and satisfying for Cap. Scarlett Johansson gave Black Widow such grounded emotion, making her sacrifice hit hard.
What about Thor's portrayal?
Chris Hemsworth. It was a brave swing. The review noted it was divisive, the humor mixed with trauma. Some loved the raw portrayal, others felt it undermined him a bit, but undeniably memorable.
And the others, Hulk. Hawkeye.
Mark Ruffalo as Smart Hulk brought this great mix of intelligence and unexpected humor. Jeremy Renner delivered Hawkeye's journey from darkness back to hope really effectively. And even Josh Brolin as the past Thanos. He was different from Infinity War Thanos. More straightforwardly menacing, pure destructive will. Still compelling.
It sounds like an incredible juggling act for the directors and writers with so many characters and plot lines. What did the review say about the direction and the technical side?
High praise all around. The Russo brothers were credited with masterfully balancing the huge action set pieces with those intimate character moments and all the fan service, the nostalgia. It all felt purposeful.
And the script.
Marcus and McFeely's writing was called tight, emotional, and just packed with rewarding callbacks for fans who'd been there since the beginning. Visually, the effects were top-notch. The quantum realm looked amazing, that final battle. Just stunning, state-of-the-art stuff.
And the music.
Alan Silvestri's score. Epic. Heroic. Emotional. That Portals track when everyone returned. Goosebumps. The review specifically highlighted that one. And the cinematography captured both the grand scale and the personal stakes perfectly.
So looking back now, Avengers Endgame really cemented its place in film history, didn't it? What were the main takeaways from our deep dive on its overall impact and legacy?
Oh, massive impact. It wasn't just a movie, it was a global phenomenon. Box office near $2.8 billion worldwide, one of the biggest ever. But more than that, it actually did it. It successfully concluded the massive Infinity Saga.
Yeah, that's rare.
Incredibly rare for something this ambitious. It set a new benchmark for cinematic universes, for interconnected storytelling. The review stressed how it left most fans feeling really emotionally satisfied.
But it wasn't just an ending, right? It set things up, too.
Exactly. While providing closure for the original core, it cleverly passed the torch and opened doors for the next phase. Think about Loki escaping with the Tesseract, Sam becoming Captain America, Wanda's grief. It directly led into those Disney Plus shows and future movies.
Of course, even a film this loved isn't totally above criticism. Did the review mention any specific critiques or points where maybe it didn't quite land for everyone?
Yeah, it did touch on a few things. The time travel logic.
Right.
Some found it a bit confusing or inconsistent. The rules weren't always crystal clear, leading to lots of online debate, you know.
Mm-hmm. The branching timeline stuff.
Right, and as we mentioned, Fat Thor, Bro Thor. While some saw it as a meaningful portrayal of trauma, others felt the humor undercut the seriousness of his situation. It was definitely divisive.
Anything else?
Captain Marvel's role felt a little underutilized to some, maybe, given how powerful she was set up to be in her solo film. And a few critics found the pacing in the first hour, the part focused heavily on grief, a little slow before the time heist kicked into gear. Minor points in the grand scheme for most, though.
Still, despite those points, the overall verdict from our source review was overwhelmingly positive. A perfect 5 stars, calling it a breathtaking cinematic event and a true milestone in pop culture history.
Absolutely. It really stuck the landing on 11 years of build-up, that blend of massive action, genuine emotion, and thematic weight thinking about legacy, time, loss, recovery. It resonated deeply. It gave fans that emotional fulfillment, but also, like we said, smartly pivoted to the future of the MCU. A remarkable achievement. And, thinking about that theme of time and regret, it's interesting how Endgame uses time travel. It's not just a plot mechanic, is it? It's almost like a therapeutic tool for the characters.
How do you mean?
Well, Thor faces his mother, gets that closure. Tony sees his father differently. Cap gets to live the life he lost. They literally revisit their pasts to confront regrets or find peace. So a final thought for you, our listener. What does this massive epic story, ending the way it did, tell us about our own human need for closure? About the power, maybe even the necessity, of looking back at our own pasts, our own regrets, in order to truly move forward? Even when looking back is complicated or, frankly, painful.
That's a really powerful question. As you think about Endgame's themes, the grand sacrifices, the emotional farewells, maybe consider how stories like these shape how we understand legacy and closure in our own lives. The big moments and the quiet ones, something to mull over.